This episode is sponsored by Squarespace.
Welcome to Beyond Crafterdome, where today we will watch a death race for some of the last crafting supplies left in the wasteland. First one to the dollar store wins. Let's meet our sacrifices. First up is Thor Breaks in his monster truck Big Crunch. What, did he name that thing after a breakfast cereal? Next up is Nick of CC Minis, who's looking hot, and I mean that in a purely platonic way, in his hot ride called Fire Truck. And the Belgian Banshee is back. It's Gerd of Dark Matter Workshop. Gerd has a whole swarm of cars coming for you. Tinu of Craftastrophe is piloting the War Rig Shite Rider. All of his weapon systems are controlled by Windows Vista. Bill Making Stuff is apparently giving bus tours of the wasteland now in his double-decker death machine, Red Rooter. I don't even know what to say about this guy. Does he even know this is a race? This is Buzzsaw Boylai in his vehicle Street Reaper. Good luck, fish, you're gonna need it. Here comes the boss, the ultimate craft warrior, the Ayatollah of Crapola, the man with the best crafting tips in the apocalypse, Craftsman.
Contender, welcome to Beyond Crafterdome. This is a race to the finish. Alright. The victorious one will receive a coupon to the dollar store and also some Mod Pie. Alright.
You may be asking yourself, how did I get here? Well, I got a bus, obviously.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 41. Today is Beyond Crafterdome. Now what is Beyond Crafterdome, you're probably asking. Basically, anyone who watched Crafterdome last Halloween would see me go up against 4 of my YouTube friends in a big craft-off. It's not really a craft-off. It just, we make it sound more macho than it is. We basically just make stuff and we show each other and we're like, oh, that's nice. Today is Beyond Crafterdome with Tinu from Craftastrophe. We have Kanab from Kanab Makes. We have Nick from CC Minis. We have Gert, that German guy from Dark Matter Workshop. And we've got my old friend Boyle from Boyle Hobby Time. I don't think he knows what he's getting himself in for, but you know, it's kind of him to come. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much. I've got to make a vehicle of some kind to race and then fit myself inside said vehicle. I don't know how it works. I don't know how the physics works here, but anyway, just enjoy the show and I'll see you in a bit. You ain't coming. So, for this challenge, I wanted to use a vehicle that was typically British, like this black London taxi cab. You'll see these in London. They will take you around the whole city the long way and charge you an extortionate price. Probably best if you just Uber it. So the other option, and I think the better option, is a double-decker red London bus. There's plenty of things I can do with this. Look at it, a giant, big, red battle bus of some kind. So my bus is going to be for a Gaslands tabletop game, and that's normally a Matchbox / Hot Wheels kind of scale, and this just doesn't look the right scale to me. So I had a look around, I found this other bus ornament. Is that how you spell ornament? Anyway, it seems to be the right scale to me. From what I remember, riding these double-decker buses was it would be about 2 car lengths, which is about right there, so that looks good to me. Plus it's nice and kind of big, so I can just destroy it there a little bit more. So now I'm going to just kind of list a few bits of materials that I might use in the build. I say might because I've been known to kind of pull materials out at this intro and not actually use them. So let's see. I do film this in chronological order. I'm sure I use some EVA foam. This is sculptor mesh. I use it for the windows, for grating, metal grating. I used to take apart colanders, but you know, pretty dangerous. Cut your finger that way. Just in case you didn't know what little bits of plastic look like. And some, yeah, holiday wire. Why not? Let's chuck that in here. So for my post-apocalyptic battle bus, I thought it'd be cool to have broadside cannons in the windows all along the bottom, like an old naval ship. Some barbed wire, perhaps, so people can't climb up, some grills on the windows, and maybe some kind of mast on the flag, I'm not sure. But it's going to be called the Red Router. Now, anyone who lives in London will know what that means. So this episode is sponsored by Squarespace. Now, if you've ever wanted to make a website and you're not really sure how to do it, Squarespace is the place to go. Look, you get provided with hundreds of templates like these just here, and they're all pretty cool designs, I'll give them that. And say you want to make a website about pickles. Look, oh, there we go. There's a pickle website. You can literally open this up, change the names. There you go. You have a pickle website. So I decided to make a website of my own for bill making stuff. Now, I've made plenty of websites in the past, and I have to say that Squarespace is the easiest and most intuitive website builder I've ever used. It's so easy to get great effect. I mean, look at this. This took me like 5 minutes. So if you want to make a website, click on the link down below. There is a sale going on. There you go. So this is my tiny cheese board that I use as a cutting board. You'd be surprised how useful a tiny slab of wood can be. Now, I could have easily threw in a joke there about tiny bits of wood, you know, and dads. But I'm trying to mature as a, you know, a YouTuber. Trying to be more responsible because there are a lot of young people that watch this stuff. And lots of dads, funny enough, who, you know, let's face it, are pretty much jokes already. In all honesty, I actually really enjoy hearing about parents and their kids watching the episodes and building along or just using them as inspiration. I get a lot of emails like that and I really enjoy it, so thank you. So for these styrene bits of plastic, I wanted to make some kind of rivet indents. So I took a drawing pin and I used to push it in with my finger, but if you use a little tack hammer like that, it makes a much better imprint. It doesn't hurt your fingers, and also you feel like a little tiny person working away. So these little plastic pieces are going to be the shutters that would come down over the cannons when it's not in use, and I kind of want them to be at kind of weird angles, so I'm going to use these cocktail sticks as little poles holding them up. So anyone who's ever received the package ever would maybe see some of this stuff. It's kind of like a weird strap that goes over the package, and it's a weird textured plastic, but keep hold of it. It makes really good kind of corrugated steel, corrugated iron texture on a small scale stuff like this. So along with keeping interesting junk, you know, interesting shapes, try and keep interesting textures like that, you know. Studson Studio is actually quite good for that. He does find lots of interesting textures on the bottom of cake packets, you know, things like that. Also, I'm thinking I've been cutting off a lot of these cocktail stick points and they're quite cool little spikes, so I'm probably going to save them and use them later. And there we go. That's that looked pretty good to me, but to be honest, I probably should have put the cannons in first, but you know, live and learn. So I guess now I need to figure out how to make some cannons. So I got lots of these pump things. They look pretty cool as cannons. I found these by taking apart kids' water pistols. Actually, it was in a previous episode. I'll show you now. Yeah, I think I used these. And there we have some broadside cannons. I'm pretty happy with that. So I've kind of gone back to using baking powder. I've been using super glue accelerator quite a lot, and I find it really brittle when the super glue cures, like it breaks off pretty easy. So if you can use baking powder, use baking powder. Plus, you know, less cancer, which is always a good thing. So I'm just going to stop the build there, just to remind you all to click like and click subscribe. And not just for my video, for everyone who took part in this collaboration. There's a playlist down below. Subscribe to them. I'm subscribed to them. I watch their stuff all the time. You know, if you're worried about like, oh, do I really want to click that subscribe button? It's so much work. It's so, the worth of subscription. Okay, so go over there, subscribe to them, show them some support. I love their channels, and you will too. And obviously, if you enjoy my stuff, consider becoming a patron. It's really easy to do. There's a link down below. Patron donations is the only way I can keep this show going. They're the only ones that, you know, provide enough money for me to do this full time. So I would really appreciate any donations you do on there. Anyway, thanks for your time. Subscribe to everyone in this collaboration. I mean it. You won't regret it. Apart from that one. Don't subscribe to that one. So I need to make a series of holes to kind of place barbed wire all the way along this bus. And I tried using the Dremel to drill it, and it just wasn't really working. So I found this ice pick in my wife's bedside table for some reason, and I'm just going to use that. Now I could have possibly made the bus a bit kind of wonky by doing that, but it doesn't matter, it all adds. So one of those materials you probably have and you don't think to use is paper clips. Now I have lots of armature wire that, you know, is really fine like this, but it's a bit too flexible. Paper clips bend really, you know, they're very stiff, so you can use them for like little metal poles like this. Kind of the same way sculptors use wire coat hangers as armature wires, because it's, you know, it's so much firmer than armature wire. So keep that in mind. Plus, a lot cheaper. Talking of weak, dangly armature wire, I'm using this stuff as barbed wire. So I want to kind of loop it around this dowel and make a barbed wiry kind of pattern. Preferably don't use a dowel that's covered in red wax from a previous episode, because it, you know, made a big mess. But anyway. I guess you just place the barbed wire the same way you would place big barbed wire, by, you know, kind of getting it tangled up, wrapping it around. Probably wouldn't use super glue to hold it in place in the real world, but you know. Now there should be little spiky bits on that wire, but at this scale you're not going to see it, so I just kind of didn't bother. I mean, it looks like barbed wire, right? Get your hands off. So you remember when I said this stuff is safer than using the colander? It isn't really. I cut my finger pretty bad on it, so just be careful. It's basically 1,000 needles sticking in every direction possible, but it makes good mesh on windows. So this is one of those instances in my videos where I make it look really easy, where I edit out all the horrible stuff. I glue these mesh things from the inside, and it was an absolute nightmare. I kept losing them in there. I spent hours on this, but obviously you don't have to see that. Yeah, so there you go. I probably shouldn't tell you that. It breaks the whole illusion. I'm not sure what to do with this back door. I'm probably going to leave it open because there's some nice poles where you could probably chain your enemies up to and drag them along behind the vehicle. You know, like pleasant stuff like that. Anyway, we need a gun on the front of the vehicle, and I'm just going to use, I think these are AUG guns. I don't know. I get sent lots of pieces from fans of the show. Thank you very much, fans. So I get a lot of comments about, oh, look at his hands, they're so crusty. I mean, that's just super glue and baking powder, or super glue and super glue accelerator. It kind of dries like that on your fingers, and it comes off. It comes off, okay? It comes off. And then we have a double-barreled machine gun on the front. EVA foam, I knew I'd use it. I love EVA foam. I use it all the time. This is a pyrography tool, but you can use a soldering iron or basically anything that heats up, and you can kind of imprint textures into it. So these things are going to be dented and scratched and bolted onto the bus like repair jobs. EVA foam, dirt cheap. Get it in any craft shop. You can find it in the pound shop, to be honest. Always in the kids section. So keep an eye out for it. So I'm thinking I need to kind of Mad Max up these wheels a little bit. Now, you remember all those cocktail stick spikes I told you to keep? So I'm going to use super glue to stick these little spikes on. Once they're stuck on, if you just soak them in another coat of super glue, they kind of stay on. So I'm going to go for an undercoat of burnt sienna, obviously the go-to rust colour. And I bought a load of shot glasses from the pound shop, which I can use for paints. No, I haven't painted anything that rusty in a while. I mean, you know, you may say otherwise, but I'm going to go a little bit crazy with lots of different rust tones, a bit of brighter orange, a bit of patina maybe. I don't know, let's just go a bit crazy. Contrary to what you Americans believe, English people do have toothbrushes, and you know, but we use them to flick orange paint on our rusty buses, so you know, but we do have toothbrushes. I kept mixing different tones of orange in the little shot glass, and I went a bit crazy, let's be honest, but most of this is going to be covered up, but still, it all adds. Now you can use a bit of blue or a bit of green to make like a patina. Now that is some tasty rust. Give it a good lick to make sure it's right. And you know, after that, I called it good. Maybe not. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of this masking fluid, which is basically liquid latex. And I'm pretty sure you can use the latex you get at Halloween. I'm going to test that out in a video. Let me know if you want to see that. But basically, dab it anywhere you don't want paint to stick to. And now we're just going to paint the whole thing in red, pretty much. So when painting rusty things, I like to kind of start from the middle and work my way out to the edges and not quite hit the edges, and just kind of stipple the paint on there. I mean, this, you can kind of create a rusty effect like this anyway, without the masking fluid, but the masking fluid just adds that little, I'm doing a chef's kiss gesture that you can't see. Anyway, the rest of the metal is going to be gunmetal grey. I want to address the joke I made earlier about British people and their toothbrushes, that we only use them to stipple paint on rusty. That's not true at all. That's not true in one bit. You know, we actually use it to kind of wipe away the excess paint on top of masking fluid too. Just to be clear. So this is one of my favourite parts, peeling off this latex. If you ever used to pop PVA glue on your fingertips at school when you was a kid and peel it off in art class, that's kind of what it's like. Nearly as good as that. And there we have a pretty good looking rusty paint job. Now this is the oil wash stage. It's basically oil paint mixed with white spirit. I've probably mentioned this in every single video, so I probably won't go into too much detail, but basically cover the whole thing, let it run in all the little gaps, and wait for morning, and, you know, hope for the best. It'll be fine. Trust me, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry. I mean, it looks pretty messy. It will be fine. So I want to say a big thank you to Narb, Gert, Boyle. Special thank you to Tinu and Nick at CC Minis. Because any VFX you see in the intro and the outro of this episode was them. Like, they spent a long time and a lot of work doing it, and I really appreciate it. And it looks really good. And I also want to say a big thanks to the craftsman who didn't have to take part, although I'm sure it was probably quite fun in a way. He loved it. He loved it really. Anyway, I guess I better go and get a bus, I suppose. I'll see you in a bit. You ain't coming. I don't care if you've got your little spiky goggles on.
Welcome to Beyond Crafterdome.
Contestant, start your engines. Like that. The race will begin in 3, 2, 1.
And they're off! It looks like Norm Makes and Bill Making Stuff both have their eye on the leader, Kurt. Don't count out CC Minis or Tinu of Craftastrophe. I'm launching the secret weapon.
No, Daddy, hold your horses.
And not surprising anyone, Boy Lie in last place. Look at him go, that's what speed looks like. Kurt still has a commanding lead of first place. Come on, Boy Lie, you can do it, champ. Oh, look out, looks like Norb is making a power grab for Kurt.
Say hello to my little friend.
Whoa, he smushed one of Kurt's cars, but he's out of control. It's safe to say Norm Makes is out of the race.
All right, Windows Vista, let's rain down some fire.
Printer not detected.
Printer, work, you stupid thing.
Help, I'm being assaulted.
Here comes CC Minis.
Let's go. Take that, Gert.
And Kurt's second car is out the race.
You just got roasted.
Don't count out Red Rooter.
Nick, it's Bill.
Oh no. Oh God, no.
Bill's shooting stuff is raining down fire. Watch out, Nick.
Oh jeez.
Oh, broadside.
Oh, he was a nice guy, but
Kurt's still in the lead.
it's the German.
Watch out, Kurt.
Hello, German. Guten Tag.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Whoa, Kurt has crashed and Bill has stalled.
Oh, it's like 30 gears. What's going on?
It's Tinu.
Adios, Bill, losing stuff.
Death ball.
Tinu!
Tinu has taken the lead. Bill's back in action.
I'm coming, Tinu.
Oh, should have been nicer.
Let me at him.
Go, Daddy, go.
Secret weapon alert. Oh, what a day. What a lovely day.
Time to get your bus.
Hey, Bill, they're serving sloppy joes today in Valhalla. Let's go grab a table. Oh, I hope they're okay. Hey, I'm alive. I always knew I was indestructible.
Daddy.
And we have a clear winner with Tinu of Craftastrophe. Wait, why is he stopping?
Okay, Windows Vista, let's get some revenge.
Weapons system online.
Kill that fish. Fire.
Target acquired. Destroy Shite Rider.
Wait, what? No. Abort.
Sweet darkness, take away the pain. Sweet darkness, take away the pain.
Well, we have a new winner. Boy Lie Hobby Time. He's gonna be taking home that Mod Podge as he slowly meanders his way to the finish line. If you need to take a bathroom break, I suggest now it's a good time because this is taking a while. Hold on, Boy Lie has finally crossed the finish line and is entering the dollar store to take a good look around, fish at your wonderful prizes. Hello.
That's what that button does. My bad.
And there we have the Red Router, a double-decker battle bus for Gaslands. I'm really happy with this. Let me know what you think. So now you've finished watching my video, go and watch everyone else's video in the collaboration. I love all of their work. They're all my favourite YouTubers and they're all definitely worth a subscription, so go and subscribe. Don't be so stingy. And of course, thank you very much, patrons. If you'd like to support this channel, you like what I do and you want it to carry on, please consider joining Patreon. There's a link down below. It doesn't cost much at all and it helps a lot. You know, I wouldn't be able to do it without all these people.